D'Angelo Russell has been traded to the Golden State Warriors. What in the world is going on in NBA free agency? I will try to explain what is going on. Y'all, Fox Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA here to talk about some breaking news, which I just mentioned with D'Angelo Russell getting traded from the Brooklyn Nets in a sign-and trade to the Golden State Warriors. Who would have thought that? So I'm going to break down this trade for you guys, explain the entire trade, who got what was the reasoning behind it, ultimately talk about the Nets, the Warriors, and then a third team that was also involved in this trade as well. Before I do so, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. I post daily videos, especially now with the NBA free agency. I've been posting like 2-3 a day. You don't want to miss out. Turn on my post notifications by clicking the bell icon next to the subscribe button. So go ahead and subscribe first. And then follow me on Twitter as well and my Instagram. Go ahead and do that. With that being said, let's talk about this trade right now. Let's get into all of the crux of the trade and explain. So, as to not confuse you guys, I have documented the trade on my board here, and I will be showing you guys. So let's talk about the trade itself, obviously, who was involved, and then I'll get to the basketball fit, okay? I ain't even gotten to the part where I'm talking about, whether or not this was a good trade for the Golden State Warriors because they now, of course, have D'Angelo Russell alongside Steph Curry and Klay Thompson after, of course, losing Kevin Durant, who was headed to the Brooklyn Nets. But let's just talk about the trade itself. And here's what we have right now, okay, folks? And I'm going to walk you guys through this, so don't get too confused here. Okay, this is the full trade, okay? D'Angelo Russell, so the Golden State Warriors get D'Angelo Russell, Shabazz Napier, and Treveon Graham from the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets really don't take anything back because they need the cap space to sign Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And then the third team that I told you guys about that was involved are the Memphis Grizzlies. And the Grizzlies are getting Andre Iguodala, who's getting traded, of course, from the Golden State Warriors. A 2024, 2025, and a 2026 first-round pick. Yes, 3 first-round picks going to the Memphis Grizzlies. These picks all have protections on them, so I think they're like 1 through 4 or whatever. I think 2026 is unprotected. But for the most part, these are first-round picks. And how Memphis can do this is because they had a $17.2 million trade exception that was created in the Mike Conley trade to the Jazz. And so Andre Iguodala's $17.2 million salary fits in the $25 million trade exception. Did I say it was a $17 million? I meant $25 million trade exception, excuse me. So it's a $25 million trade exception that was created. And the $17.2 million, of course, fits into that. So let me just mention that here. So that is essentially the trade itself. And again, I know that is very complicated. You guys might be lost, but let me just explain here. Okay. So D'Angelo Russell was a restricted free agent. We know that, right? Because the Nets had extended the qualifying offer to him. So what is a restricted free agent? Basically, the Nets can match any offer for D'Angelo Russell if a team offers him a contract. And when the Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant news was announced, we knew that the Nets were not going to re-sign D'Angelo Russell. I have some questions about that, which I will get to in a second. But at the time, we knew they were not going to re-sign D'Angelo Russell. Okay, fine. So I guess at that point, you're going to try to trade him, right? Or renounce his rights. They didn't do that. They did not renounce his right, which means make him an unrestricted free agent. They kept his rights. And instead, they signed and traded him. And the reason it was the Golden State Warriors, because a lot of you guys are probably asking, why would the Nets help the Warriors? It's a fair question. I believe there's 2 reasons behind this. Number one, they signed and traded him to the Golden State Warriors because of the necessary cap space they wanted to sign Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Now, they had the cap space outright to sign KD and Kyrie, but the fact that they get to offload a couple of players because, Shabazz Napier and Treveon Graham, maybe they wanted to get them off the books. That's certainly one reason why. Number 2 is essentially them telling D'Angelo Russell, hey, listen, wherever you want to go, we will sign and trade you there. Instead of D'Angelo Russell being unrestricted and he can only go to a certain number of teams, okay? If you're unrestricted, you can only go wherever there's cap space, right? And we already knew only a few teams had cap space. And essentially, when the Warriors were offering D'Angelo Russell about $30 million, and they signed him to a 4-year, about $117 million deal. he jumped on it, okay? Because a lot of people, including myself, were asking, what happened to the Lakers? What the heck happened to the Lakers? Because they were supposed to be the team that was supposed to go after D'Lo, and the Warriors decided to pay him, about 4 years, $117 million, which is upwards of about $30 million. And so he jumped at that opportunity to go ahead and do that. And that's why for D'Angelo Russell, it was all about the money play, right? He's going to take the money. And for the Nets, it was about sending him where D'Angelo Russell wanted to go to. And then the Grizzlies really helping out because they got 3 first-round picks in return. So the Warriors, just to sign D'Angelo Russell, had to dump Andre Iguodala, They had to give away 3 first-round picks just to dump him. And they're probably going to lose DeMarcus Cousins, probably going to lose Kevon Looney, probably going to lose Quinn Cook. And the back end of the roster is going to be completely depleted because of this D'Angelo Russell signing. So I hope that explains how this signing works financially, okay? I hope that explains it a little bit again, just to go back and just recap real quick, okay? Dubs got these players, D'Angelo Russell, Shabazz Napier, and Travion Graham. Nets got the cap space. They didn't take anything back because they needed cap space to sign KD, Kyrie, and also DeAndre Jordan, by the way. And then the 3 first-round picks in Iguodala going to the Memphis Grizzlies. That's why they jumped in here, because they get these 3 first-round picks, and you'll take them, right? And Andre Iguodala, I believe he will be bought out. I don't see him staying on the Memphis Grizzlies. They're obviously rebuilding, and so Iguodala. But real quick, though, Andre Iguodala cannot re-sign with the Warriors, I believe, for a year. It's the Zydrunas Ilgauskas rule. You're not allowed to go back to the team that basically, traded you. And so I believe Iguodala will be a buyout candidate. I don't see him staying on the Grizzlies, but the Grizzlies will take the 3 first-round picks. So that's essentially how the trade works. Here's the other questions I have to. Let's get to the basketball side of things here. You've got D'Lo, Steph, and Klay, right? So you replace essentially Kevin Durant with D'Angelo Russell. Fine. But just explain this to me, okay? Because I just have this question. How is it that the Nets thought, okay, Kyrie and D'Angelo Russell won't work because they're both point guards? Logically, that makes sense, right? But the Warriors think that Steph and D'Lo is going to work because they're both point guards as well, and they both need the ball in their hands, It's just funny to me. And then when Klay comes back, now what? Klay's going to play the 3 when he's a natural shooting guard? Or D'Lo's going to play the 2 when he's more of a point guard? So to me, on the basketball side of things, I'll be honest. A lot of people are going to see this and, hey, look, the Warriors got D'Lo. They're, they're back in the championship contention. I'm not a big fan of this move for the Golden State Warriors, honestly. You basically give up all of the depth you have, okay? You sign a guy who essentially will be in need for 1 year while Klay is rehabbing, but then after that, he'll be a luxury and not a necessity. And you want to talk about a backcourt that's defensively challenged, and D'Angelo Russell and Steph Curry, I mean, my God, opposing guards are going to have their way with them. And so what are you going to do at that point? And so to me, I'm not a big fan of this move for those reasons. And the other part that you mentioned, just to offload Iguodala to sign D'Lo, you had to trade away 3 first-round picks. So not only do you give up the present right now, but you also give up your future to make this happen. I'm just saying, from a basketball side of things, it's a very awkward fit for me. Defensively, it certainly is not ideal. And then sacrificing your future, to me, it's a big question mark. So I'm not the biggest fan of this move for the Dubs perspective. I still think like a team like the Jazz are much more balanced. Yes, the Dubs will have shooting, but again, defensively with Klay out, at least this year, they'll be challenged for sure. And how are they going to fill out the rest of the roster? Because I just mentioned they're probably going to lose Cousins, Cook, Looney. They're going to lose all those guys, Jordan Bell. How are they going to fill out the rest of the roster? So to me, it doesn't make much sense. Grizzlies, fantastic for them to get these 3 first-round picks. And then the Nets, really, I guess they wanted to, let D'Angelo Russell go wherever he could get paid. But to me, honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of this move by the Golden State Warriors for the reasons that I just explained. Let me know what you guys think about D'Angelo Russell going to the Golden State Warriors. Do you like it? Do you not? Do you see Warriors better, worse? To me, sacrifice your bench, sacrifice your future, and awkward fit, sacrifice your defensive prowess, really, because of Steph and Clay on the defensive end not being very good. I think you get a little worse. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You lost Kevin Durant, but obviously, to me, D'Lo is not as good as Clay, so you will not be as good. But for this year, if it's the only upgrade I can talk about is maybe this year with Clay being gone, you have D'Lo who'll have a clear role alongside Steph. But when he comes back, that's going to be an awkward fit. I'm just not there. I'm just not. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree. As always, thanks for watching.